something else will be really interesting for you. I know it'll be a challenge, but I think it would make it more unique to you.
Oh, sorry. So, oh shoot. Might have problems with this. Let me see if I can open my file. Oh shoot.
What?
Oh, just in time. Oh, so.
Have a seat.
So I hate to break the news, but I did not have enough time to do the animation.
Okay.
But I'm planning to do it after this.
Okay.
So I did the environmental part.
Okay.
And should I start from the zine?
So talk about the subject matter. Talk about the development of your zine and how and then your poster series and how they're sort of connected, and then.
So zine and then poster.
Yeah.
Okay. So hi everyone, my name is Michelle, and today I will walk you through the new Face of Care organization, which is the organization that I chose for this awareness exhibition. So CARE has been around for 75 years, and they are mainly focusing on helping women and children that experiences social injustice and a lot of malnutrition, especially to those who live in a war zone area. So their main focus is to help people and nurture them as much as they can. So what I learned during the research progress that helped me to create this content was there was a lack of reach from the organizations to the people that were trying to reach out. So with that being said, that was a loophole for me to create this content and help them visualize in a way that it could be translated into a modern contemporary context.
Yes. Yeah.
The way that we're supposed to do this project. So going into the zine, since I learned that the organization itself is imagery-wise, visually, and brand image-wise, they are very women-centered and kid-centered, so there's less of like equality to it, which they've been talking about in their manifesto, but it's not visually represented. So in this range of pages of the zine, I tried to balance out the idea of highlighting how every right that's being taken away is a crime. And that's basically the cause of what's going on right now, that the reason why CARE is standing up right now for that is because of these problems happening. So going into the first set of these pages, it really just talks about how the problems have started and what we're dealing right now. Yeah. And going into the end of the zine is where we try to offer a solution. In a way, I try to call out things like we learn about caring for the uncared. It's a cliche thing, but it's basically things that people are having a hard time to do. And going into learning how human rights blossom from stomachs. People think it's like a, let's say, an imaginary thing to say, but it's actually true because you can't really function without eating properly. Correct. So going into like using the visual library that we had and the vector elements that is on the zine, I noticed that food was also part of the fight that we're trying to do here with the CARE organization, and that's why maybe having a different perspective of using a microscopic photography of food, because we're talking about philosophically about help. It's not just about the definition of it. Right. So going into imagery, or maybe thinking about how we can translate this action more than just philosophically, and thinking about what can we do to help them within our own capability. So it's like understanding that it's not just saving, we're also replenishing, because it's never going to end. It's still going to go through each day. So how can we slowly slow down the process of it happening again? So all of these zine, some of the vector elements are just highlights of a lot of the themes that I got from the research about like hope, family, humanity, humanizing. And humanizing was one of those words that really stood out, and also the word freedom, and learning that the synonyms of the words that I've been getting from my themes also helped to create a secondary information. So there is a lot of close-up photographies in the zine. The reason why I did that, and some of the treatments are handmade because of how we would help people. Like we would hands-on help them. It's not going to be computer generated or anything. And for this particular imagery that I end up using on several of the pages, I wanted to also focus on just like focusing on us as humans versus we looking at different genders and all that. At the end of the day, we're still helping from a human to another human.
Right.
So going on to the zine, and when we extract this formula of basically an attention grabber, that's when we translate it back to the posters and how can we give them a glimpse of the exhibition or what their awareness is all about, while also making them think of what they're seeing. So I learned to not be too literal with this project, which I know I have the tendency to do so. And this was my first poster series, and I got to understand once I printed it out that you don't have to have a lot of information to tell something is going on.
Right.
You just, and then learning that maybe a vector, it depends on like how we build. Then again, it's like you're true about building the right library to use.
Yeah.
So that was helpful for me to take some words out. And the process of building these posters was interesting because the type that was used here was actually a secondary type that is used on the book. So it wasn't expected that could be something big on the poster. Yeah, I was definitely outside of my forte too, so that was a big push through.
Yeah.
But I also noticed learning to build a poster series, I can't be too predictable or even too, like, I'm not trying to say like cliche, but it's like, I know for sure, like I can't be making a surprise when it's too, you can spot it in the book.
Right.
So I noticed like playing with the cutouts of the photo, like how we place it also matters, like perspectively, and also going in scale, going in small type or big type. I guess this project really, especially with the organization that I'm working, that really helps to mimic the idea of unnourished, because some people who are unnourished, they have a hard time focusing on things, understanding things. So like with the play of like the certain treatments really help to talk about that. And I noticed the comment that I got earlier from Gloria about this photography.
Yeah.
And originally it was just a kid that's eating. And I know the way that it's depicted by people nowadays are pretty controversial when it comes to photos like this. So I was imagining, and I do this all the time with my projects, where I would print out a photo, I would cut out different photos and put different layers on it. Yes, this is actually collage.
Yeah.
So
Which is what I like about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gloria mentioned, this idea of poverty porn.
Yeah,
right?
that's it,
And,
yeah.
Again, I understand that. I mean, photojournalism, which is, and there's a lot of it that's really, really well done. Some of it not so much. A lot of what we see on the news, on television, stuff like that. But I think the idea of having just one image in your whole poster series that actually shows someone, to me, I think brings the whole thing together, actually. You know what I mean? And it's not like I said, it's not like, again, being in Ethiopia and showing, a picture of a bunch of kids with bloated stomachs.
we're not scaring them.
You're not, that to me is kind of poverty porn. And to me, the idea of having a young kid with a bowl of food in front of him looking directly at you, right? It's like, it's